We decided to go with the SSL because it had the most top end on it. I was really into top end as well. I've been to America and I've worked on MCIs, and the guys out there, the engineers, put more top end on the track than I'd ever heard in my life. But it really was a cool thing because, you know, in the days of analog tape, all the top end had been knocked off.
It's hard to explain to people now who, with the sort of analog myth, how terribly frustrating it was.
The analog myth, I like that. Yeah, no, it was an analog myth. We put this SSL in, and of course, suddenly, you know, I had a couple of hits. Suddenly, everybody wanted to be in Siamese. I had nowhere to go. I was constantly being, you know, traipsing around the studios of London, and occasionally it was all right, but a lot of the time it was crap. And going to places I didn't want to go, with awful old Neve boards that everyone raves on about, but you know, I could never get enough top end out of them. I used to have the flat out on the top end, you know. I used to think they sounded too natural.
Yeah,
it's funny, isn't it, how tastes change. I've toyed with the idea of doing a record analog, just because it makes you do things. I don't know what it would be like to do that again. The big problem is that the tape isn't as good as it used to be, and so the sound isn't as good. I think in a way it's probably better for young people to learn on analog, in the same way as it's better to learn on a geared car and then go on to an automatic car. I think analog, you know, these days with digital, if you record somebody's voice, if you record it too quietly, you know, you can raise it by 15 dBs if you need to. You can raise it by 20 dBs. You can take a syllable and knock it up 10 dBs without even giving it a thought. You try doing that on an analog recording of somebody, you won't even be able to remotely do that because of the noise floor. I think a lot more young people would do well to learn how to record to analog tape, because you're constantly having to optimize the level. I mean, all of the old guys that I worked with who recorded people, you know, vocals, they'd learn the song, they'd follow the lyric sheet, and they'd be moving the fader to, you know, to make. And I used to do it as well. It's very important. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to get the voice through.